everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you soon after Arsenal's 1-0 win here at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, a win that moves them back to the top of the Premier League, responding of course to Manchester City's win yesterday home to Fulham. Really good performance, this one from Arsenal. Had to show a lot of personality to get the job done. Third win in a row in the league at Stamford Bridge. All very, very different wins. When you go back to the first one in COVID time to this one, I think you can certainly see the evolution of Mikel Arteta's side. And it was kind of similar, I thought, to the performance at Old Trafford earlier in the season. Arsenal, of course, lost that game. They were punished for some silly errors, for overcommitting. They didn't do any of that today. Saliba and Gabriel were absolutely immense at centre-back. Didn't give Aubameyang a sniff. Only 8 touches for Aubameyang in the whole game before he was taken off just after the hour mark. Brozier came back on, more of a sort of after that, more of a physical presence, obviously. But again, Saliba especially dealt with him very, very comfortably. And this was a deserved win, no doubt about it. Arsenal were a better team in all areas. You just look at the numbers at the end of the game. You look at the XG. It was a deserved win for Arsenal, but they still had to get it done. They did it thanks to Gabriel's goal just before, I think it was around the hour mark. I haven't actually looked at the minute it was. Let's have a look. Really good, 63 minutes, really crucial stage of the game. Obviously it was drifting. You thought at that point, although Arsenal were on top, you thought it may well be drifting towards a goalless draw, but from a set piece, which Arsenal have been awful at all game, first half especially, so wasteful from set pieces. Delivery was really, really poor, but not today. Not in that second half, as it was whipped in. Gabriel got on the end of Bukayo Saka's corner. There was a little bit of confusion at first about who actually scored. Had it crossed the line before Gabriel turned it in, but it was definitely his goal, and popped up with another important goal, second of the season. And you know that with Gabriel, yes, he makes some rash errors of judgments at times, but when he gets it right, like he did today, he's got all the attributes to be an absolute superstar of a centre-back. Him and Saliba, as I mentioned, they were just so good. And with the bedrock of this victory, Mikel Arteta was speaking about it in a press conference afterwards. He singled out those two for their performances. He praised Granit Xhaka as well, Ben White, Gabriel Jesus for his pressing. Jesus missed a big chance in the first half, and it would have been an absolutely sensational goal. Brilliant team move, back to front. Martinelli's cross found Jesus at the back post, but he got his header wrong, glanced it wide, and the chance had gone. And it's 9 games without a goal for Jesus, and obviously that is an issue, and it's a growing issue. Every time each game ticks by without scoring, it is an issue. But you still saw, especially in the second half as the game wore on, the work ethic he put in and how important that was to keeping Arsenal's lead and keeping Chelsea penned back in their own half. And, you know, Mikel pointed that out in his press conference afterwards, and you can understand why, because it was a really sort of good second half display, and sort of just showed his leadership qualities, I thought, and he didn't let that miss in the first half get on top of him. Lots of good performances throughout, and as you would expect, for Aubameyang this was a miserable game. He talked the talk before, didn't he? He took part in that BT promotional video, which probably say BT stitched him up a little bit, but he had to agree to it. He did it, and not talking so loudly now, is he, after being hauled off 8 touches, just 8 touches in the whole game. It shows how ineffectual he was. It shows how quiet and well marshalled he was by Saliba and Gabriel, and actually special mention for Thomas Partey as well. I thought Thomas Partey was an absolutely excellent breaking play out, and with those, it's just such a strong partnership when everyone's fit and available. When you've got that sort of trio in the central areas of Gabriel, Saliba and Thomas Partey, it's very hard to break the Arsenal down, especially away from home, where, you know, they've only conceded goals at Old Trafford, and I've forgotten this, another away game. It's only 2 away games that conceded goals in the league this season. I think Partey, Gabriel and Saliba are so important at that. It's just they're just forming this little impenetrable triangle in front of Aaron Ramsdale. Chelsea just had no answer for it today. Even when they sort of pressed on second half and tried to get back in the game, he never really felt they were going to do it unless something fell for them in the box, kind of fortuitously, and it didn't. And absolutely thoroughly deserved victory for Arsenal. Okay, so player ratings time before I go. As you can guess, they're pretty high given the level of performance. I thought Aaron Ramsdale just had nothing to do. I think Chelsea had 1 shot on target in the whole game. He swept up well. He did what he needed to do. He came for crosses, played the sweeper role well, but in terms of shot stopping, he just had nothing to do. Arsenal was so dominant, so he gets a 6. The 2 centre backs, William Saliba, 9 man of the match for me. Just immense. There was just one run in the second half when he took the ball, got down the right wing, ended up getting across. If you haven't seen it, just watch it. Monstrous performance from William Saliba. He gets a 9. Gabriel gets an 8. And it shows how good Saliba was that I'm not giving man of the match to Gabriel, who scored the winning goal, and was brilliant. But yeah, Saliba gets man of the match for me. Ben White, excellent once again, as always. Justifiable praise from Mikel Arteta for Ben White in his press conference afterwards. He gets a 7. Zinchenko, I was surprised he started, given he's not played since the Spurs game on October 1st. Did all right, looked rusty, understandably. Came off for Kieran Tierney sort of midway through the second half. But good to have him back, real bonus for Arsenal to have him back. But yeah, he looks a little bit rusty. One throw-in the first half, which was hilariously bad. He gets a 6. Thomas Partey gets an 8. As I said, just swept up everything. Thomas Partey, Chelsea just couldn't get the ball past him. Had more touches than anyone else, and more successful passes than anyone else. It was just a really dominant performance from Thomas Partey. Game possession 13 times, only William Saliba matched that. Really good all-round performance from Thomas Partey. He gets an 8. Granit Xhaka gets a 7. Not quite as impressive as Thomas Partey, but still very, very good. As always with Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard I was a bit disappointed with. Did all right, had one big chance in the second half that he didn't take. Went through from brilliant play from Gabriel Jesus to set him up, but he put it over the bar. And it wasn't bad by any means, Odegaard, but I was a little bit disappointed with that performance. So he gets a 6. And then up front, Saka I thought struggled in the first half. His set piece delivery was poor, but he really came alive in the second half. Got the assist, caused Chelsea a lot of problems in that second half. So I'm going to give him a 7. Martinelli gets a 7 as well. Kind of similar performance to Bukayo Saka, really. He gets 7. Gabriel Jesus I'm going to give a 7 to as well. And it was an odd performance, not an odd, that's the wrong word, that's the wrong description of it. It was a good performance from Jesus, but ultimately again you're sort of judging him by goals. As a striker you need to judge him by goals, and he's not scoring and he's missing chances. He missed another big chance today, but having said that, he played very, very well, especially in that second half when Arsenal had a lead to protect, and he played a massive part in keeping Chelsea pen back with his running and his work rate in that second half. And again got justifiable praise from Mikel Arteta in the press conference afterwards. So he gets a 7. Subs who came on, there was 3 of them, pretty old school from Arteta, not throwing on 5 this time. Tierney came on, Holding and El Neni, but Tierney helped see the game out. El Neni and Holding were literally on for right at the end, so it didn't really make too much of a difference. From an Arteta point of view, perfect day for him. Like I said, now 3 wins in a row at Stamford Bridge for Arsenal. This used to be a ground that had nightmares for Arsenal, and now it's turned into a bit of a playground for him in recent years. And Arteta deserves a lot of credit for that. You could see how happy he was when he spoke in that press conference afterwards. He was very, very proud of his players today, and given the performance, I'm not at all surprised. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Arsenal back on top of the Premier League. Finished Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1.